Kevin Black is the second Black in the last 11 years to get into the Hall of Fame. 2007, his dad, Dave, was entered, and I think it's a first father-son combination that have made in the Coach Association Hall of Fame. So,
all right. Thank you to the Wisconsin Wrestling Coaches Association, George Martin Hall of Fame, for this honor. When Tom McGarvey called me to inform me that I had been selected to the Hall of Fame, I thought of the people that God has placed in my life to help me get here. My name will always be etched in this Hall of Fame. However, this honor or any of my success are not about my name. Sometimes you only know the wrestler or the coach, but tonight is when you learn about the man and what his passion is and what drives him in. Congratulations to the other inductees. We followed all of these individuals being inducted here tonight. We know they're great, but many of us have never known what made them great. For me, it all started in River Falls, Wisconsin, and I couldn't have had a better upbringing. My dad taught his kids at a young age the value of hard work and showing up every day. We were dairy farmers, so taking a day off wasn't an option, and that's how I approached wrestling. My dad's love language is acts of service, and those who know Dave Black know that he will do whatever he can to help others and to help the sport we all love so dearly. It's good for all of us that he doesn't do things for recognition or praise, and for that example, I think many of us in this room are grateful. If I can ask one thing of the people in this room tonight, is to say thank you to Dave Black. My mom, Mary Black, she's a woman of very few words. She loves her children and her grandkids, and that's about it. We all know that I'm her favorite. And I'm grateful for my parents' example and their 44-year commitment to marriage. My sisters, Amy and Stephanie, have always been our biggest supporters. Stephanie's always been the loudest. My brother, Tony Black, since the day he was born, he's been my best friend. We were only 1 year apart in school, so we participated and competed together in everything. We live 1,000 miles apart now and still communicate on a daily basis. Most of our communication revolves around sports, sometimes politics, but it's always a source of comfort and security. Going into high school, I had big goals. I wanted to do things that no one else had ever done in the Wisconsin wrestling community. Just before my freshman year, one of our assistant coaches, Randy Barr, organized a wrestling clinic that featured Olympic gold medalist John Peterson. It was at that camp that I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I grew up going to church and believing in God, but on that day I crossed the line of faith, and God went from a religion to a relationship. God came to me in a wrestling room and pursued me right there where I was. I didn't have to leave the wrestling room to be in full-time ministry. Since that day, I've used my time in the wrestling room as an opportunity to grow closer to God and to help others encounter Jesus on a personal level, right where they're at. Dave Branfold was my high school coach. I beat Keith Kostick in a wrestle-off my freshman year. Branfold told my dad that I would wrestle 103 for the first duel and then would split varsity time with the upperclassmen. Really? Well, I won my next 160 matches and never really gave Keith a chance to wrestle varsity. In addition to intensity and work ethic, Coach Branfold taught us that there's more to life than wrestling. I hear his voice in my head often, helping me keep a healthy perspective. In high school, I had a lot of great teammates who bought into what Coach Branfold had for us, and we had a lot of fun together. Guys like Benny Berg, Landon Lewick, and Joe Cutt are still some of my greatest friends. I went to the University of Wisconsin, and as a sophomore, I decided to root my life in the confession in Isaiah 26:8. It says, "Yes, Lord, walking in the way of your truth, we eagerly wait for you, for your name and your renown are the desires of our hearts." It became a radical and tactical shift in how I approached wrestling. I had a good name in the Wisconsin wrestling community, but I knew people would eventually forget my name. So I made a decision to leverage my wrestling career for God's name, because His name would last for an eternity. I was determined to win a national title for God's name and not mine, but I had a setback and never won that title. I didn't understand what God was up to, and I'd have to wait several years for it to start making sense. But I was successful in winning something more valuable. I won the heart of this cute little girl on the track and cross-country teams. I went to a UW track meet, and Liz Reeser came around the second turn in the indoor miles. She completed in under 5 minutes. And I told my friend Clayton that I was going to marry that girl. We've been married for 15 years and have an incredible life with 3 rambunctious little boys, Isaiah, Micaiah, and Ezra. Most of my competing happened before I even knew Liz, but I made a lot of decisions with her in mind. I had a purity plan, had grown my faith and developed as the man of her dreams before I even crossed paths with the woman of my dreams. She's been at the center of all of my happiness in my adult life. Everything that happened that was good, she was there. She supported all my hopes and dreams. Another important person from my Madison years was Scott Motice. I met with him once a week, and he discipled me, mentored me, and came alongside me for many important decisions. He was a central figure in the lives of many athletes at UW. He lived out of conviction, not convenience. My coach, Barry Davis, had an important impact on me too. He loved me and cared more about me as a man than he did as a wrestler. That example set the tone for my coaching career. First crew of committed athletes that I had at Victory School of Wrestling will always mean a lot to me. Jens Lons, Corey Hudwadnik, Joe Rager, Braden Lanky, Jake Filkins, Osimo, Cole Tobin, to name a few. We had a lot of fun and we worked our tails off. 2013, I started coaching at my alma mater in River Falls. I'm still trying to figure out this high school coaching thing. Being a high school coach is really hard. I've had some really great assistants, Joe Kuzlik, John Lantz, Pete Range, Cam Loomis, and have had some great mentors that I look up to as coaching examples and friends. Chris Hansen, Dan Clark, Scott Markle, Bob Empey, Mel Dow, Ken Reynolds, Brad Holzer, Scott Arneson, Keith Sweat, Dave McCarthy, pretty much everybody in this room. A year and a half ago, we lost one of our biggest supporters and best friends, Justin Bystrom. To him, everyone mattered, and his days were measured in handshakes and thank yous. My grandma Audrey, who passed away earlier this year, lived her life like her life depended on it. She gave everything she had, and she reminded me that when it's your time to die, it better be the only thing left you have to do. Steve and Susan Reeser, Chris and Judy Black, Paulie and Debbie Cudd, Chris Campbell, Scott Cleaver, Pat Kilty, Chad and Leah Flanagan, Nancy Lindquist, Madame Meyer, Kit Lidke, Rachel Pressler, Dave Miller, Jeff, Adam, Ingrid, Theron, Macy, Allie, Josie, Ashton, Sophia, and countless more. Thank you. Back in 2001, Terry Steiner left UW and became the head women's coach at USA Wrestling. I was ticked off that he left us to go coach some girls. He told us that he coached wrestling to help others, to become great people. It took him some time to realize that it wasn't gender specific. I told him I was willing to do whatever it took to help the U.S. win gold medals, and I finally realized that female wrestlers deserve the same opportunities as men. The benefits of our sport are not gender specific. In 2016, one of my most special athletes became the first female from the United States to win an Olympic gold medal. Putting the flag over Helen's shoulders in Rio is one of the best moments in my life. In that moment, many things came full circle for me in my journey. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the abundance God has given you, but there's something terribly wrong when you think everything God has given you, He gave you with only you in mind. God's plans are bigger than mine ever were. My failures and successes were never for me. My wrestling career as an athlete or a coach isn't about my name. It's for others to encounter Jesus and to make God's name known across the entire planet. Wrestling's not who we are, it's what we do. And when you know who you are, you know what to do. Expect more than others think is possible. Don't excel to be honored. Honor yourself by excelling. And measure your days by how many questions you've asked, not how many you answered. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. On Wisconsin. Go Pack, go. AO1, all this for a king. His name is renowned.